All right, welcome back. Another Wednesday. Jake and I are starting a little bit early because right before we were about to start the show, we started talking about Derrick Rose because Jake saw a rumor that said the New York Knicks are going to trade Derrick Rose before the season starts.
Yep.
Now, we've seen it in tons and tons of Bucks groups. People on Twitter saying the Bucks should trade for Derrick Rose. Now, the problem with this is that Derrick Rose is scheduled to make like $14.25 million this year. So every time I've seen this come up and people are like, oh, we should trade for Derrick Rose. We should trade for Derrick Rose. Before you even get into Derrick Rose, the player, you have to consider Derrick Rose, the salary. Ultimately, what you have to trade is either Brook Lopez or Grayson Allen and George Hill. And I'm sure that there's plenty of people out there that would be fine doing those trades. However, what happens when you do that is you are trading a starter at one position for a backup at another position. And then all you're doing is creating another need that you then have to go and make another trade for.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point in the Bucks doing it, especially when you consider the salaries. What's up, Big Cheese? When you get into the fit, the only way that I really see it is to do what's up, Justin? The only way I really see to do it that makes sense is if Derrick Rose were to get bought out. Or if, say, the Trailblazers were to trade for him just to eat salary and then buy him out, similar to what the Pistons did with Kemba Walker.
Yep.
So something like that. Or
who was also on the Knicks.
Right. or the Rockets with John Wall with them buying him out. So that's the only way I see that Derrick Rose ends up on the Bucks. So I don't know what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, there's no way that we're getting Derrick Rose. I don't want to give up Brook for him. I'll tell you that. There's no trade in the world that I would involve Brook Lopez for Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose doesn't add any value on the defensive end, and he adds limited value on the offensive end. Yes, he can get cooking. He can get to the rim. He can create shots for others at times. What up, Taylor? But his name is bigger than his game. He's one of those players.
Yes.
That's how I feel about him.
Yep.
Now, a guy I was thinking about, and he's super, super annoying unless he's on your team, and he's going to get bought out, is Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, I'm far more interested in that.
Bro, Patrick Beverley and Drew Holiday just annoying the hell out of guards on the
other
other
and then you could throw Javon Carter in there, too. Can you imagine a small ball lineup of Patrick Beverley, Javon Carter, Drew Holiday on the floor at the same time as, say, Giannis and Brook Lopez? Like, that's a defensive lineup that would be annoying as shit to go against.
And Carter and Holiday can hit their threes. Beverly he's a sometime shooter.
Yeah.
But his real value would really just imagine dealing with Beverly on defense, right? And then the Bucks come down and Giannis dunks on you. How pissed are you gonna be,
dude? And then you got to deal with Joe Ingles standing in the corner talking shit to you.
Dude, he talks hella trash, man.
He does. He really does.
I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love all of it. Hey, Tim, I saw yesterday that Packers are still the betting favorite to sign Julio. I saw it. Tim, if the Packers sign Julio, you have to come on the show because I have to see you celebrate.
In his jersey. You're only allowed to come on the show. You have to be wearing a Julio jersey. The only way I see it happening is if Sammy Watkins gets cut. And then he essentially takes his place in the same exact contract.
Yeah, because we have so many wide receivers, man.
Yeah. Okay. So, we are going to start with something we have discussed before and apparently needs to be discussed again because people on Twitter still don't understand. Giannis is already ahead of Kevin Garnett all time. It's really not even close. When you can, if you want to take a broad view of it and say, there's this, and this, and say there's these four categories of whatever, Giannis is better in all of them. You have to niche super far down to find, this is what Kevin Garnett is better at, and this is what Kevin Garnett is better at out of these 20 fucking categories.
The only thing, okay, this is going to be super, super annoying. I have to nitpick. Obviously, Kevin Durant has a better – or Kevin Durant. I've been hearing about Kevin Durant for so long. Kevin Garnett is better at was that turnaround jumper from the post. I mean, obviously.
Mid-range. Yep.
That was a very, very good move for him.
Yep.
Other than that, And Giannis is still developing that. And remember, he's only 27, and his is starting to look a lot better, a lot more.
Yeah.
So who's to say that he doesn't get that for the next, in the next 5 years? Who says he doesn't become dominant at that and just takes over the entire league and says F you to everybody else?
Yep.
It's kind of sidetracked, but I have to ask. Did you see Skip Bayless's top 5 players?
Yep.
Oh, my God. How do you have Durant over Giannis still? How? It doesn't make sense to me. But at least he gave him some respect to put him second.
His reasoning was 3-point shooting and free throw shooting. Those are the only 2 things that he gave to back his point up.
Okay, so what about defense? Like all of defense.
That's the first thing that Shannon said.
Whole defense.
That is Skip said he gave Shannon credit, saying that Giannis is the better defender, but he's like, oh, Kevin Durant's no slouch on defense. So,
okay, but Giannis. Okay, here you have to break it up into tiers, right? Is Durant going to be dominant in the pick and roll as a rolled man defender? No. Giannis can roll with a big man and block him. Okay, Giannis can also switch onto a guard and guard him.
Right,
he can block him or steal the ball from a guard.
Giannis
can also bring the ball up on offense.
Right.
He can play point forward. I know. But I'm talking about the total package. The only thing that Durant has, in my opinion, is shooting. That is it. It's the same thing with Garnett. Yep. The only thing that he has over him. But Giannis has better
not even. So listen to this. The argument always comes back to, well, Kevin Durant had a better mid-range, or Kevin Garnett had a better mid-range game. I don't care. If you look at their career 2-point percentages, Kevin Durant's career 2-point percentage is 50.4. Giannis's is 58.2. I don't give a shit if he's a better shooter from 8 to 15 feet. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
It's worth the same if you're scoring on dunks and layups as it is from the Kevin Durant one toe inside the 3-point line. I don't give a shit if he's a better mid-range shooter. If you're inside the 3-point line, those are all worth 2 points. I don't care if you can score it better from far away when they're worth the same amount of points. Tyler, the game's still going. It's 1-1. Trevor Gott held the damage to 1 run, so they're tied going into the 9th.
And the Brewers are about to get rowdy, if you get what I'm saying.
Hey, yeah, he's going to break that franchise record. Okay, so I basically took basically all of their stats. All of them. All
right, Taylor, hope you're listening.
Okay, here we go. So, Kevin Garnett averaged 34.5 minutes in his career. Giannis is averaging 32.6. So keep that in mind. Everything that Giannis is doing, he's also doing it in about 2 minutes less per game. I do also have their per 36 minutes stats, so I will do that as well. Field goal percentage. Kevin Garnett, 49.7. Giannis, 53.5. Free throw percentage. This one actually was a little bit closer than I thought it was. Kevin Garnett, 78.9. Giannis, 71.8. Only a 7% difference there. I was expecting higher. 3-point percentage. Kevin Garnett, 27.5. Giannis, 28.8. So Giannis literally has a better 3-point percentage than Kevin Garnett.
Okay.
2-point percentage I covered already. Garnett, 50.4. Giannis, 58.2. True shooting. Kevin Garnett, 546. Giannis, 604. Points per game. Kevin Garnett, 17.8. Giannis, 21.8. Keep in mind, Kevin Garnett was the number 1 overall pick. Giannis averaged 6.8 points his first year and 12.6 points his second year. Assists per game. Kevin Garnett, 3.7. Giannis, 4.6. Rebounds per game. Kevin Garnett, 10.0. Giannis, 9.4. So we finally get to one area where Kevin Garnett has an advantage, and it's by this much.
It won't be at the end of his career.
It won't be.
Because Giannis is going to average 12 to 13 for the next 7 years.
Right. Defensive Player of the Year. They each have 1. MVP. Garnett has 1. Giannis has 2. He did that in the same year.
Sorry.
Only Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan have done that, besides Giannis.
Join that list, Garnett, fucker. Yeah.
That's already cause to move me ahead of him.
Yeah.
All NBA teams. Kevin Garnett played 20 years. Giannis is in his 9th, going into his 10th. All NBA teams. Kevin Garnett, 9. Giannis already has 6. This is the one that Giannis is going to have some work to do to catch up. All defensive teams. Kevin Garnett has 12. Giannis is at 5.
Yeah, Garnett was a standout on defense. I will say that.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair. So you get to let's do this. Giannis, the only player to be all NBA team 4 consecutive times unanimously. Only one ever. Literally nobody else has done it. Jordan hasn't. LeBron hasn't. Harden hasn't. They've all done it 3 times. Kobe, only 3 times. Giannis is the only player to be unanimous first team 4 consecutive times.
I'm going to assume that record's going to get to double digits.
Well, it's unanimous. So, I mean, if somebody at some point comes along and plays like slightly good enough for Giannis to get like 99 out of 100 votes or something like that. But
the only person that could do that is Davis. It's AD. That is the only one at the power forward position that I see challenging him.
Right.
I mean, maybe Cat now that he's a power forward, but
yeah, that's fair.
He's my
opinion, 3rd team this year, so I mean, he's still got a little bit of work to do.
He's not on the level. I mean, AD obviously we know has that talent level, and Giannis is Giannis. You know, so when you get called by one name, you're the shit. Sorry, LeBron, MJ. You get called by one like.
I mean, nobody wants to say Giannis's last name because they don't want to like tie their tongue in a knot, but
that's true. But think of like Chris Middleton. Like Chris Middleton doesn't get called Chris; he gets called Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying?
Or he just gets called Middleton. Okay, I got more. Not even close to done yet. Not even close to done yet. Steals per game for their careers. Kevin Garnett, 1.3. Giannis, 1.2. Blocks per game. Kevin Garnett, 1.4. Giannis, 1.3. So these are super close. You can go to their per 36 minutes stats. So this is per 36 minutes for Kevin Garnett. 18.6 points, 10.5 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.5 blocks. Giannis is per 36 minutes. 24.1 points, 10.4 rebounds, 5.1 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.4 blocks. So per 36 minutes, almost everything is the same, except for Giannis averages 1.2 more assists and 5.5 more points.
That's a lot.
For Kevin Garnett to average 0.1 more rebounds and 0.1 more blocks. Now, playoffs per game. This one gets a little ugly. Points. Playoff points per game. Kevin Garnett, 18.2. Giannis, 26.3. Rebounds. Kevin Garnett, 10.7. Giannis, 12.0. Assists. Kevin Garnett, 3.3. Giannis, 5.2. Steals. Kevin Garnett, 1.2. Giannis, 1.0. Blocks. Kevin Garnett, 1.3. Giannis, 1.4. They play almost identical minutes. Kevin Garnett played 36.9 minutes in the playoffs. Giannis played 36.4, so it's almost identical there. Player efficiency in the playoffs. Player efficiency rating. Kevin Garnett's 21.1. Giannis is 25.8. Assist percentage. This is where you get a huge discrepancy here. Assist percentage. You know what? I'm going to do turnover percentage first because it's almost identical. Turnover percentage for Kevin Garnett is 12.1%. It's 12.2% for Giannis. So almost identical turnover percentages.
Giannis handles the ball more. I'm just going to say that.
Kevin Garnett's assist percentage, 17.8. Giannis's 27.1.
Wow.
So a 10% advantage in assist percentage with almost the same percentage of turnovers.
That's with him almost averaging 10 more points, too.
And almost 2 more assists per game.
Jesus.
True shooting in the playoffs. Kevin Garnett, 525. Giannis, 577. Field goals. Kevin Garnett, 47.8. Giannis, 52.7. So the only thing so far that I have found that Kevin Garnett is better at is playoff free throw percentage. Kevin Garnett has a big advantage in playoff free throw percentage. That is the only stat where I've been able to find a big difference. Almost everything else is like negligible differences because you get to the per 100 possessions. Kevin Garnett's offensive rating is 110. His defensive rating is 99. Giannis's offensive rating is 116. His defensive rating is 104.
So Giannis is better.
So Giannis is +6 in offensive rating, -5 in defensive rating. So, I mean, by that metric too, Giannis is 1 point better per 100 possessions.
So Giannis is better.
You can go to win shares per 48 minutes. Kevin Garnett, 0.182. Giannis, 0.197. You can go to box plus minus. Kevin Garnett, offense, 3.5. Defense, 2.1. Giannis, offense, 3.9. Defense, 2.1. So Giannis has a 0.4 advantage in offensive box plus minus, and their defensive box plus minus is the same. I don't know where you go from here, and then add in the fact that Giannis has a Finals MVP that Kevin Garnett does not. Giannis dropped a 50-piece in the Finals. Kevin Garnett averaged, I think, like 10 points in the Finals that they won.
And Giannis was on one leg, dude.
And that's true, too. plus the extra MVP to do the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. The only things that Kevin Garnett has on Giannis is he might be a smidge better rebounder. He might be a smidge better defender. Keep in mind that back in the early 2000s when Kevin Garnett was wreaking havoc on the league, there wasn't a lot of spread sprawl ball played like there is now. That's where Steph Curry changed the game, is by spreading the game out.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Garnett didn't have to deal with that. Not much, at least.
No, towards the end of his career, maybe.
Yeah, and at that point, it's just you're playing with old Kevin Garnett. You're not expecting him to do the things he did on defense the 10, 15 years before that.
Exactly.
So he might be a smidge better defender on paper, but when you look at what Giannis is doing, who Giannis is going against, things like that, I mean, you could just call that a wash. Same with the rebounding, like Jake said. All that stuff, that's just going to wash because Giannis is going to eventually get to it. And that's the thing. That's the only other thing that Kevin Garnett has on Giannis is longevity. Like I said, Kevin Garnett played 20 seasons. Giannis is going into his 10th. And he already has more hardware than Kevin Garnett. Like I really don't even see where the comparison is. Because like I said, the only big advantage I could find for Kevin Garnett was playoff free throw percentage. That was the only thing because Giannis hasn't shot well at the free throw line in the playoffs. It's literally the only thing. And if you want to hold tight to your mid-range life jacket, I don't give a shit because 2 points is 2 points. I don't care where they're scored from.
Isn't that pretty sad, though? Like, Giannis is going to dunk, and he still dunks.
Exactly.
2, 3 people in the paint, don't matter. Left hand, right hand, don't matter. Coming off a spin, coming off a euro, it don't matter. Giannis is going to put the ball in the rim. You could
be face-to-face with him, and he will still dunk on you. Ask Julius Randle.
And he'll let you know about it. He says it with his chest. He don't give a shit.
Like, I don't see where you can make a case for Kevin Garnett.
I don't either.
I don't see it anywhere. I mean, if you're talking, I mean, what did I do? Like damn near 30 different statistics here, and you're going to hold on to 2 being better mid-range and playoff free throw percentage, and Giannis is better in literally the other 28 metrics, and you're going to try to tell me that Kevin Garnett is better than Giannis?
I told you this morning, bro. It's just the nostalgia.
So what I told you, I really feel this way, and it's a true thing, and it's something that is a normal human reaction, is to not want to let go of the past because it forces you to confront your own mortality. That's a legit thing. I get it that, you don't want to necessarily accept that you are getting older. You might not even feel this way when you're thinking about it, but it's back in the back of your mind. It's a subconscious thing.
I agree.
Yep.
I mean, it'll be hard for me to say that somebody's better than Giannis when, I'm an old senile man, but I'm going to have to see some hardware, man. I'm going to have to see some heart because if we're measuring heart, there is definitely nobody over Giannis. I don't care what nobody says. Garnett had heart too, but if we're measuring off of that, I think Giannis is bigger, man. Look where he came from. I mean, they made a movie about the guy's life. That's how inspirational and crazy it was, man. And if you haven't seen it, you should. It's an awesome movie. Very well done.
All right. Now that I'm done putting Giannis over Kevin Garnett again, we can get into the Bucks free agency moves and what they've done. I think they're pretty much done. So that's just my opinion, is that they're pretty much done. So we're looking at it. The Bucks retained Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Javon Carter, Wesley Matthews, and Serge Ibaka, which was a little surprising. Yeah, it was a little surprising. So they also signed Joe Ingles, and then they waived Rajon Tucker and Luca Vildoza. So out of all of those things, what do you want to talk about first?
Well, first of all, our boys, Wes played good in the playoffs. He's not one of our boys, but shout out Wes. I think I think for what his job is, he played well. He filled his role.
He did his role,
much better than he did the first time around. Our boys, Bobby Portis, obviously. Who doesn't fucking love Bobby Portis?
How could you not? Yeah, he's awesome.
Seriously, talk about heart, talk about hustle, talk about the big dog. You know, he brings all of that. And then Pat Connaughton coming back, that's a good move.
He's been one of our best role players since he's been here, honestly.
100%. He's a shooter. He's not afraid of the moment. And he's somebody that is very close to Giannis. So that probably had, some of it why he stayed here. I'm sure he'll get re-upped when we get the opportunity to re-up him.
Right.
We're going to have to re-sign Middleton next year or during the season, one of the two. Maybe they're working on it right now. Who fucking knows?
Could be, yep.
But Middleton, I would definitely love that. That's a future conversation. I love bringing Javon Carter back. I'm a big fan of Javon Carter. I think he's been great since we got him from Brooklyn. He wasn't really performing there, but, looking from the outsider point of view, how toxic that situation was in Brooklyn, who the hell can survive in that other than Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant's great. I'm not trying to talk shit about him, but he was really the only one flourishing in that. Kyrie had his moments, but he played like 13 games, it felt like, He
played 29 games last season.
Yeah. Javon Carter's been great. Serge Ibaka, man. It was shocking to me that we brought him back.
It made sense the more I thought about it. So I'll get your thoughts out and then I'll weigh in.
I was just going to say it did make sense because we do need another backup other than Bobby. He still has that experience. He could still change shots. He was a guy that just got here. So for people to be like freaking out, like, oh my God, why did we bring Ibaka back? They didn't even use him. Dude, first of all, shut up. Okay.
You could say the exact same thing for Javon Carter, but I will let you continue.
You could. Secondly, we, getting him acclimated, getting him a full offseason with this coaching staff, getting him a full offseason with the other players, getting him back in shape, getting him familiar, those are all things that are going to be helpful later on down the road. The people that are like complaining about Serge Ibaka coming back are the same people for months that complained that DeMarcus Cousins wasn't brought back. And by the way, he's a free agent, and we still picked Ibaka over Cousins. I just want to put that out there, and I'm going to let you have the floor.
Dude, the fact that people kept going on Cousins, it's like, dude, why? He shot 25% from three when he was here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play defense.
0.
Ibaka literally does both of those things. Not as well as he used to, but he still does them. He does them well enough to be a primary backup to the guy that does them well. To me, what bringing back Serge Ibaka did for the Bucks was it allows them to use Bobby Portis as power forward, which is his primary position, and not have to play him at center so much. Because now it fills out the depth chart in my mind. So instead of having Bobby Portis being your primary backup at power forward and center, he is now your primary backup at power forward. And Serge Ibaka becomes your backup at center. So what it does to me is it puts less of Bobby Portis' minutes at center, puts more of his minutes at power forward, and then it takes minutes away from Brook Lopez playing the center position, and it puts those onto Serge Ibaka. To me, what that suggests is that they're looking at Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis and Giannis Antetokounmpo at how many minutes they're playing in the regular season, looking to save them from some of that. So I'm going to say this now. Do not be surprised if Serge Ibaka plays something like 15 to 20 minutes a game throughout the entire regular season and then does not touch the floor in the playoffs. I'm telling you now, do not be surprised if that happens.
I could see that.
Okay. So the other thing, I mean, we could say pretty much the exact same thing about Javon Carter except for the playoff part. Just because with Javon Carter, he was brought in late, just like Serge Ibaka. Actually, he was brought in later because he was a buyout after the trade deadline. Serge Ibaka was a trade deadline pickup. So Javon Carter had even less time in the system. I get that he played well in limited minutes in the Chicago series, and he actually played well during the end of the regular season. But Budenholzer opted for the experience of George Hill, who, keep in mind, was not only here all of this year, but he was all the year before, 2 years before, he was here all of that season. So George Hill essentially had 2 years of experience to Javon Carter's 2 months of experience.
Yeah. I understand. Like, I completely understand the logistics of the situation, but I would have rather every once in a while just thrown Carter out there instead of Hill just to see what happens, because we knew what we were getting in Hill. And I'm not mad at anything. Like, I'm not going to kill Bud on it or whatever, like most fans would. But just one time, just throw Carter out there and see if he makes a positive situation out of a situation that was kind of, even, where we were kind of just going back and forth with Boston a little bit. See if Carter can force a turnover or two. You never know. Never know. I feel like if we could have survived that Celtics series and we could have got Middleton back, maybe 2 games into the conference finals against the Heat.
I was just going to say, like, game 3.
Then you never know.
Yeah.
You never know then. But we got a title. We still have a superstar team. So let's not keep our heads down, man. The Bucks are going to be good for a long, long, long time.
And it's not like the window is even remotely closed because Giannis is only 27. He's not going anywhere.
And I trust Horst. I trust Horst as a GM.
I do too.
That
he has an Executive of the Year award for a reason.
He does. And I sat behind him on an airplane. I should have caught his autograph, but I was
very scared. Or a picture or something.
I was scared to talk to him. But I think, when the time comes, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, probably, when we have to retool this roster, I absolutely trust Horst to be able to handle that situation.
On your point of retooling the roster too, I think that's a good point to bring up, is that I've seen a lot of people questioning, why are we doing 1-year deals with all these old washed up veterans? Why are we doing all these 1-year deals? We need to draft and develop guys. It's like, that's not how being a contender works.
No.
When you are a contender, you have your core, and then you want to have as much flexibility roster-wise and financially as physically possible around your core. So the core is the big 3, Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. Then essentially you're looking at Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez for now, and that's pretty much it. Like, Pat Connaughton is part of that, but he's a role player in this situation. Outside of those 5, 6, 7 guys, you're looking at just having as much flexibility as you possibly can on your roster so that if somebody comes available, say a Patrick Beverley, you're not trying to figure out whose 2 or 3 year contract you have on your roster that you need to unload before you can think about signing Patrick Beverley.
Yep, you allow yourself that flexibility, basically.
Exactly. So you're not having to try to find trades like other teams are having to do now that they're trying to find trades. Philadelphia is in this position where they're trying to find people to take their players, and they're going to end up getting bad returns just because they need to clear payroll so that they can bring in free agents because they have no flexibility.
Dude, that's Daryl Morey, though. He kind of did that to the Rockets.
He did that to Houston, too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Screwed them up, and then financially they were kind of screwed for a little bit. Now they're having to kind of tank, do what Philly. He went from Philly, who was tanking to get good, and then he's doing it. He made Houston have to do that, and now he's going to make Philly have to do that again.
Yeah, dude, if Embiid leaves, that's...
Bro,
That'd be a skid mark on that organization.
He planted the seed last year when he talked about Miami needing another star. Now, I would not enjoy him in Miami because they would be tough with him. Him and Jimmy Butler together would be tough in Miami.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool to see them together, though. I mean, they had their minutes, but
they have a great coach down there. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a good point.
Together, yeah, I think the Brewers just lost, by the way. But anyways, him down there in Miami would be scary for the Bucks.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, so let's see. I want to answer Steve's question because I think that's a good question. He asked if Ibaka could turn into an Al Horford light. So I think it's a good question. I think it's an interesting thought process. Ultimately, Ibaka isn't going to play as many minutes as Al Horford. He might be able to find a similar role in just more limited minutes. Yeah. I've kind of been toying with the idea of Thanasis having a role like that, just having really small, limited sections where it's like, okay, here we go. We're going to stick Thanasis in for just a couple seconds here on this possession before the end of a quarter or something like that. I think Ibaka's role would be bigger than that. Like a 10, 15-minute role where, you come in, you can run some sets for him to get him some open looks, and then you can use him defensively because he knows what he's doing on defense. So I do think that that's possible. I don't think Serge Ibaka is going to be putting the ball on the floor as much as an Al Horford does. I don't think he's quite that. He's not that playmaker. Yeah, that Al Horford is. So I think to a degree, so yes and no, I guess is what I'm saying.
On defense, yes. On offense, no. That's
sure.
how I feel.
That's fair.
On defense, yes, because he can control the pace on the defensive end.
Right. He's strong enough to go toe-to-toe with anybody on defense as well.
Yeah. On offense here, he's not going to be shooting the lights out and making 5 threes in the game. And if he is, we're definitely winning that game. I'll just put that out there too.
All right. So we talked about Ibaka. We mentioned Wesley Matthews, him playing his role. We mentioned Bobby and Pat being part of the core. Javon Carter being here in the full system, the full season in the system. Let's talk about Joe Ingles, because this was a kind of a surprising free agent, but also it feels like a very Bucks free agent. It does. So let's talk about Joe Ingles. I want to get your thoughts because I have some good stuff to say about Joe Ingles.
Okay, so here's off the top of my head. First of all, Joe Ingles, mentally tough. Joe Ingles can shoot. Joe Ingles, solid playmaker, way better than people give him credit for.
Yep.
Just going to say that. I haven't watched a billion Jazz games, but when I have, Joe Ingles sticks out. He sticks out not like a Donovan Mitchell, but he's definitely in that secondary rotation where you're like, damn, the Jazz are kind of deep, that guy can shoot. And then you're like, oh, that's Joe Ingles. He's left-handed, he's crafty. People aren't used to, guarding lefties. Even if you're in the NBA, it's still kind of weird.
Yep.
Lefties have an advantage. He can finish at the rim. He's a big guy, 6'8".
Yep.
That means that he can guard multiple positions.
Mm-hmm.
He's very.
He doesn't get credit for that. He doesn't get credit for that at all.
I mean, he's very good at positioning his body. He doesn't have the quickest feet in the world or the quickest hands, but he understands positioning, and that is step one to defense. So if you understand positioning, you can put the rest of your teammates in a good position to succeed. And he understands that. He plays good basketball. But him with Giannis in the pick and roll on offense is going to be disgusting. He was succeeding with Gobert. And Gobert is nowhere near Giannis on offense. No freaking where. He's not
in the restricted circle, maybe.
No.
That's it. Only in the restricted circle is the only place.
Near. Giannis is dunking on 2 people at a time with the left and right.
I mean, Gobert, he's not dunking on anybody with the left hand, but strictly efficiency-wise, that's the only in the restricted circle. So zero to 1 feet.
Yeah,
that's it.
After that, Giannis. But him, I can imagine him passing Giannis. Giannis gets by the wall, and you either kick out to a Middleton or a Drew Holiday or a Bobby Portis or a Brook Lopez, and I like all
Grayson
those
Allen.
options. Or Grayson Allen. I mean, I like all those options.
Or Pat Connaughton, Javon Carter.
My favorite option. That's my favorite option.
Dude, I love Pat Connaughton's jumper. I love Pat Connaughton's so awesome. I love Pat Connaughton.
I like that one day when he was like, catch high, release high, baby. Catch high, release high. I was like, hell yeah, baby.
Okay. So to back up your point, first of all, I want to say your point on defensive positioning, is 100% on point. What Joe Ingles does really well is, like Jake said, defensive positioning. Where that comes into effect is pick and roll defense. That is something the Bucks got eaten alive on a lot last season. Partially because the Bucks play that drop defense, which allows a lot of floaters, things like that, mid-range jump shots, which is the shots that the Bucks want you to shoot because they're not great. They're not great high percentage shots. But Joe Ingles is actually really good at defending that because he knows where to be on those. He's capable of guarding guys that are smaller than him. He's 6'8", which means he can guard guys his size. He's not, like Jake said, he's not going to wow you with his athleticism. You should pull up that quote of his that he said, because I don't know it exactly off the top of my head.
You talking about the one where he said he's unathletic and he'll still beat you?
Yeah, pull up that quote while I talk about offense. So Joe Ingles on offense is actually a very good ball handler. Like Jake said, he doesn't get credit for as crafty and as good of a playmaker as he is on the offensive end. When you go to points per possession for pick and roll ball handlers, Joe Ingles was actually 1.02 higher than Trae Young and Luka Doncic in points per possession when running the pick and roll as the ball handler. Just tells you that as efficiency goes, I'm not saying that Joe Ingles is better than those two because he's obviously not, but as far as efficiency is concerned when running the pick and roll as a ball handler, Joe Ingles is better at that than Trae Young and Luka Doncic. That's a statistical fact.
Sorry, it is. Eat it. You ready for the quote? I found it.
Do it. Yeah. I knew you'd be able to find it because it's everywhere.
He said, I've got a receding hairline. I'm slow, and I'm probably not the most jacked up with abs and all that, and I'm still going to beat you one-on-one. It is what it is, man. He knows how to play. I love it. He knows. So we're talking about him in the pick and roll. So clearly he knows how to create for others. He understands, he just understands basketball. He has high basketball IQ.
He's a baller, yep.
Why didn't we just say that? He has high basketball IQ on offense and defense, but he can also get to the rim and finish at the rim. He's not going to destroy you and dunk on you, so he's not going to be in the highlight reel. But I don't give a shit about no highlight reel, okay? You give me 15 points, you hit 3 3-pointers, and you dish out a couple of assists where you get Giannis going, yeah, I'm with that. And people need to understand basketball if they don't like the Joe Ingles signing to the Bucks. It makes zero sense why you don't like it. He fits everything that we need. We needed another playmaker. We missed that without Middleton, right? Now when Middleton goes out, we can run the pick and roll with Ingles and Giannis.
Yep.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
A beautiful thing. I just need people to up their basketball IQ, okay? That's all I'm asking. And I'm going to ask nicely
totally right now. Fair. He signed for the mid-level exception, so he's making $6.4 million. He is coming off of an ACL injury. Thankfully, his play style doesn't really require a lot of knee flexibility, just because, like he said himself, he's not a super fast guy. He's not like when Derrick Rose injured his knee, and it was a really big deal because he relied so much on his athleticism. Mm-hmm. Joe Ingles reminds more on his mind.
Yeah.
Matt says too frustrated with the Brewers.
Matt, you gotta listen, man.
Ups and downs.
I'm just gonna say this right now. They haven't had an off day in how long, dude? Their legs are fucking fried. They usually have off days on Mondays. They didn't get one because of 4th of July. Now they had to play Tuesday and Wednesday on top of that. They haven't had one in over a week, man. Their legs are fried. Their brains are fried. Just relax. We're almost at the All-Star break. The Brewers have played a ton of road games, a ton of multiple city, like Tyler said how many times, a ton of multiple city road trips. The second half schedule favors the Brewers so much. We just need to get to the All-Star break. Hopefully everybody will stay healthy up to that point. We can get people back, get our legs back underneath us. The Brewers are fine. We're still in first place, man. We're still in first place. No matter if the Cardinals win, we're still in first place.
The Brewers put an outfield today of Keston Hiura, Jonathan Davis, and Jace Peterson on the field today.
I would have never said that out of my mouth at the beginning of the season. Never.
There's not a single person that had that on their Milwaukee Brewers bingo card at the beginning of the year.
Nobody. And
literally nobody.
Dude, we're in July. It's July 6th today.
Right.
The season doesn't end until September. Relax. I mean, October. Do they play a couple games in October?
I think they play a couple in October, like the first 4 or 5 days.
That's even better. The season doesn't – regular season doesn't come
3 more months yet.
Relax. It's okay.
We just passed the halfway point on, Sunday?
Okay. We're okay. Yeah, we're fine. We're completely okay.
We'll
I'm
be
not
all right.
worried one bit.
Don't ride too low. Don't ride too high either. Like, I understand it. Like, Cubs fans are probably excited. They got a series win. You're still in the basement. You have a worse record than the Pirates. Just throwing that out.
Congratulations. You know how the Lions feel. You are officially a Lions fan today. Good job.
Hey, they have a better record than the Reds, so they got that going for them.
Hey, great job. Okay, so you're the Vikings or you're the Bears. I mean,
hey, I mean, don't start saying that. You start bringing up all these current events, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we had a World Series in 2016."
Okay,
that's the default Chicago argument, is to be like, "Oh, we suck currently, but we did this how long ago?"
You understand? I have lived in 4 different houses since 2016. 4 different houses. I've had a child. I've had a girlfriend now for 3 years. I've lived in 3 different cities. 2016 was a long time ago. Okay?
Yep.
Get over it. You probably had abs in 2016. You have abs now? No, now get over yourself. I'm sick and tired of that 2016.
Brewers got a long way to go to catch up to that drought anyways.
Oh, my God. And they sound just like the Bears fans. 1985.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah.
My
okay.
God.
So back to the Bucks. What I want to say is, listen here. So you might not like all the moves that the Bucks made. You might not think, oh, the Bucks didn't trade for Damian Lillard. I am sad now because the Bucks didn't trade for Lillard and Kevin Durant. Why didn't we trade for Katie and Kyrie? I would have given Hill and Middleton for them and Holiday. So, okay, listen to this. If you're going to make all of these, like, honestly, it sounds like whining. Like I saw somebody yesterday say, I give the Bucks a C- on their offseason so far. Literally no context. That was it. I'm like, based on what? Based on everything. What is everything? All of their moves in the offseason so far. I know that. You said in your original post, C- for the offseason so far. The thing that people don't understand is that retention still counts as addition. Because while players are still, quote unquote, contracted with the Bucks, they're not technically contracted with the Bucks until they re-sign. So that doesn't count. You can't just say that the Brewers or the Bucks didn't make any moves because they kept 5 key players and added 1. It doesn't work that way. You can't say the Bucks made no moves when they kept Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, Javon Carter, Wesley Matthews, and Serge Ibaka. Retention counts as addition. He chases more rings than Sonic the Hedgehog.
You're not wrong.
That's clever. Not wrong. That's clever.
That was pretty good.
Chasing more rings than Sonic the Hedgehog. That's pretty good. So just because the Bucks didn't make a big splash in free agency and they focused a lot on retention doesn't mean they didn't do anything. That drives me insane that people feel that way, that the Bucks didn't do anything because they have guys on the roster that they had last year.
How frustrating is it that after we won the ring, everybody's like, oh my God, we're about to go on a run. Giannis is the best, blah, blah, blah. Now we keep players that helped us win a ring literally 2 years ago now, or a year ago. I mean, not even a year. The finals were kind of happening at this time last year.
Right.
Not even a year ago, they helped us win a ring, and you already are turning on them. Now we want to go get KD because there was some reporter out there that made up some list, because the Suns weren't originally on the list. I don't believe. I know the Heat were on the first list, but some guy made up something that KD wanted to go to the Bucks. There was like 4 teams when it first came out, and now everybody ran with that shit. Yeah. We were not getting Kevin Durant.
Dude, the Lillard rumors started because he tweeted that Giannis is the player that he would want to help him win a ring.
Yeah.
There's no actual rumors there. That's just Damian Lillard saying that he'd like to play with Giannis.
I'm sure social media has broken sports.
Yeah, it's broken sports talk, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about the things that we want to do with our show, that we want to promote positivity and optimism and quality, which we hope that we're doing. We hope that we're giving a quality product when we're talking about our teams and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, when I've talked to people about this and say, this is what we want to do, people are like, wow, that sounds like a losing battle, or wow, that sounds like an uphill battle. Thank you. I'm aware. It's an uphill battle. And that's before you even get to shit like trolling, where you can't tell people's tech or like people's tone of voice through screens. That's before you even get to that, where people are just saying dumb shit on purpose just because.
Because they can. Oh,
so
you know what? We'll get there. If it takes us till 2084, we'll get there, man. We got it.
Yeah. So hopefully you feel we're doing something that's of quality. Let's go to Summer League. So the Bucks announced their Summer League roster. I think it was on Sunday as well, actually. The Bucks play their first Summer League game on Friday. I think they play against the Nets Summer League team.
They do.
Kevin Durant will not be on that team.
He doesn't want to be on the regular Nets, so he's not being on the Summer League.
All right, so Jake and I each have 3 players that we are keeping an eye on for Summer League. I have a feeling some of them are going to be the same, potentially even all of them, but I will let Jake go first. Let's talk about Summer League players that we are looking forward to.
First of all, Tyler, we don't give a shit about your team that's like 30,000 games under 500. Congratulations on winning a ring when I was like not even 25 years old. Good job. Anyways, first one, obviously I had to put the first round pick on there. Marjan Beauchamp. Okay. Is it Beauchamp?
I've been saying Beauchamp, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I actually didn't look up a pronunciation, okay. But now that you're saying that, you're making me question if Beauchamp is the right way to say it, but
I don't know.
That's the way it looks.
I'm just going with how I feel, and Beauchamp feels right, and it feels.
If he was French, I would say it's Beauchamp, but it's literally Beau and Champ, so I feel like it's Beauchamp.
You know what? One of us is gonna find out who's right on Friday. So
I'm gonna find out right now. You talk. I don't have him on my 3, so go ahead. I will find it.
He's 6'7". He played in the G League, so he's been playing against pros for a whole year. He's long. The things that I'm looking for out of him, so I wrote down a couple things I want to see from all 3 of my guys. The first thing is I want to see if his defense is actually real. He said, damn, you young. I wasn't 25 in 2016, Tyler. That's what my point was. I want to see if his defense is real. You know, when we drafted him, they talked about how he can jump the passing lanes. He could force ball handlers into uncomfortable situations with his long arms and his good feet. I want to see if he really can create his own shot. You did talk about that.
I was right on the pronunciation. That's why I'm pointing at myself.
It's Beauchamp.
That's Beauchamp.
Well, I like Beauchamp, so I might stick with that because it feels fancy. I want to.
You have to do the Italian fingers every time.
Beauchamp.
Marjan Beauchamp.
And then I want to see if he can create for others. I haven't seen a lot of talk about that, but that's probably going to be something that they're going to try to develop, you know, especially since he's going to be kind of a combo guard type player. He's going to be handling the ball a lot. He's going to be playing off ball. So we'll have to learn how to create for others. I like, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I love where they put his locker in the locker room. They put him right in between Giannis and Drew Holiday. And I'm like, oh, there's almost no better way for you to end up as a rookie.
I don't think that there are 2 better players you could put him in between putting him in the best player in the league and the best teammate in the league.
Exactly. And Giannis, a guy who's always hungry, so you're going to see a guy that works hard. You're going to learn that work ethic. And then, you know, like you said about Drew Holiday, he literally just won the award for best teammate. You're not going to get in a better situation. So the Bucks are already setting him up for success. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Who's your first one?
That's good stuff. My first one is I'm looking at Sandro Mamukelashvili. I'm looking at Mamu because I want to see if he is taking the correct steps in essentially every single area. So Mamu showed a lot of promise offensively last year. He showed that he can actually handle the ball a little bit. He's a decent passer. He's got a little bit of an outside game. He can make some threes. I'm looking to see if he's a little bit stronger and a little bit faster. Are the first things that I'm looking at. And then if those 2 things, being stronger and faster, translate to the defensive side of the ball, that's where I'm going to be looking for Mamu to take the next step, because Mamu essentially has this season, and if he can make a big step, he has a massive opportunity in 2023. Massive opportunity if he can grab this season by the balls and say, this is mine.
Yeah.
because Brook Lopez is a free agent. Serge Ibaka will be a free agent. And the Bucks, like I said when we talked about Serge Ibaka, appear to want Bobby Portis to play more power forward. That essentially leaves the starting center position open next year. Mm-hmm. I do think it's possible that they bring back Brook Lopez on like a 1 or 2 year deal or a 1-and-1 player option. Mm-hmm. But as far as that starting center position, Mamu has the opportunity to put himself in that role if he plays well this season. So that's the first guy that I'm looking at to see if he can make that next step and potentially take a couple steps forward and work as far as, drafting and developing, which is something that I've seen a lot of complaints about. So that's my first one.
All right. Well, my second one is the same as your first one. I have Mamu Kelishvili. Great name, by the way. 6'11". So, like you said, he really does have an opportunity to, take a spot on this roster and just grab life right by the horns and just say, gimme. I want to see growth too. I'm not as optimistic as him turning out to be a great defender as you. I just don't see it.
I'm just looking to see steps forward. I don't know that he has the potential to be a great defender, but if he can be a good offensive contributor and an average defender so that he's, not subtracting everything that he's adding on one end that he is from the other end and essentially being, just a negligible player. That's what I'm looking for.
I would like to see him be stronger as well. That was one thing that I wrote down. I want to see him be stronger. He got pushed around a little bit last year. I think that's the thing that all rookies have to deal with is they're a little shocked at the physicality. I mean, not just the speed, but the sheer physicality of these guys. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody talks about the first time they took a shoulder from Giannis. I mean, you're taking a shoulder from a Greek god. So
the amount of hype that I've seen after one Summer League game from Chet Holmgren.
Oh, God.
And people are like, wait till he plays Giannis for the first time.
Bro, you know what he's going to do, that skinny little dude? Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
He's about to kill that guy. But I want to see if Sandro can really develop. I think he has the potential on offense, because he can handle the ball. Mm-hmm. And he does have the pass-first mindset. Yep. I want to see if he could turn into a force on offense. Because Giannis, as he can pass, is still a shoot-first guy. Where Mamu, I think, is a pass-first guy who can shoot. So I think their play styles would really play well off of each other. And that's something that I would look forward to.
Well, not to mention that Mamu would give you that floor spacing that the Bucks have loved so much by having Brook Lopez on the team. Because he gives you that elite paint defense, and then he gives you the floor spacing on offense.
Maybe we can get Splash Mountain 2.0.
That'd be sweet. All right. My second one, I am looking at Hugo Basson. So I watched as much of his highlights as I could find. Basically, he's a draft and stash for the Bucks. The Bucks essentially drafted the rights to him. He's not going to play in America this year. He's going to play in, I believe, in New Zealand again next year. Okay. Dude, his jump shot is so smooth. He has such a smooth jump shot. It's awesome. His poetry in motion is Hugo Basson's jump shot. So essentially, I just want to see him play in the United States and see how his skills translate into playing, American basketball versus, New Zealand, which is it's more like the European style of basketball, which is different. Yeah. So, they are playing basketball, but the style of play is different where it's, like Jake said, it's a lot more physical when you get to the NBA. So I'm looking to see how Hugo does coming into play in the United States.
That is good stuff. All right. So I've been seeing a lot about this guy. So I just started watching YouTube videos into him, and he might be it, man. He might be that guy. It's AJ Green. He's a shooter, point blank period. He averaged 18 points per game last year, and he shot 38% from three. I'm not looking for him to do anything else. You just be the prototypical white guy that is 6'4", so you're too short to play forward, you're too tall to play point guard, and you just grab the damn ball and you shoot it, okay? If you turn into J.J. Redick, then you turn into J.J. Redick, okay? That's all I'm looking for. J.J. Redick was 6'4", white guy that can shoot.
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver was huge, though. He was 6'7".
I'm just saying, a prototypical white guy that shoot the ball.
If you turn into that guy, that is all we needed against the Celtics. Seriously. Just be that guy. That's all I'm looking for. He is going, and I talked about it before, he's going to be shocked by the physicality, man. I mean, because, he's 6'4", so he's kind of a tweener guy.
Yep.
So he might be a guy that has problems guarding those super twitchy, quick point guards, but that might be too small for some of the other guards, and a little bit where they're bulked up and they have, a year or two experience in the league. So
small forwards too, if it becomes.
I'm not looking for him to go crazy or anything like that. My expectations for him are very low. But all I want him to do is just stripe some 3-pointers, and I'll be excited.
So he's got the other two-way contract for the Bucks. AJ Green is my third one as well. He's got the other two-way contract for the Bucks. So him and Mamu are probably going to be up and down a whole bunch, especially when it comes to injuries and load management and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I do expect to see a lot of AJ Green playing for the Wisconsin Herd. But like Jake said, he's a shooter. Shoot. That's what AJ Green is. So
we finally got AJ Green, Tyler. We finally
got. I know, right? Yeah, we finally got AJ Green. So he needs like no space to get his shot off. Like none. And he's so good in contested jump shots. I have, based on the shots that he's shooting in college, being like 11 feet behind the 3-point line, I have no doubt that he'll have no problems adjusting to NBA range. And essentially, he's the perfect type of player to put in the Budenholzer let it fly offense. So he can score in bunches too. I've seen that in a bunch of his games where he comes in, he makes 3 threes in like 2 minutes. So he strikes me as that microwave type guy that when he gets hot, like you feed him until he misses.
Yeah. Shoot till you miss.
Right.
like the old 2K days.
Right. So like Jake said, it's 38% on threes. 91% at the free throw line is good. The Bucks did actually struggle with free throw shooting last season. That was kind of something I harped on and ended up becoming part of my fundamental failures that I would bring up, was missed free throws. So this is where I got a little interesting here. So AJ Green is 6'4". He is the same exact height as Grayson Allen. You look at their college stats, they're actually very similar. If you go and look at their college stats as far as their scoring. So Grayson Allen is under contract for $8.5 million for this season and for next season. To me, this kind of struck me as a move, bringing in AJ Green on a 2-way contract to see if AJ Green could potentially fill that Grayson Allen role and potentially make Grayson Allen a trade bait, trade piece, trade chip.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting.
That's what I'm here for. Make you think.
Something to consider as the season comes near. I am excited to watch a little bit of Bucks in the summer. I'm not going to lie. I miss basketball. I watch Giannis highlights probably once a week. Just watch him scream at people really loudly as he embarrasses them in front of their families. Can you imagine being the guy, like, you brought your kid to his first game, bro, and you get dunked on? Oh. That's almost as bad as Drew Gooden's kid playing. Drew Gooden played for the Bulls at this time, and he told his dad that his favorite player was LeBron on the Cavs. That was when LeBron was wrecking the Bulls. Oh, my gosh. That's embarrassing.
I say they ended up being teammates, though, didn't they?
They did. But still, imagine your son being like, "You're not my favorite player, Dad," even though it's, really, really small chance that you make it to the NBA and you worked your butt off and you were an all-star and all this stuff. But LeBron's better than you, so he's my favorite. I think I would kick my kid out of the house, dude. You're not allowed to live here then, you little bastard. I'm not being serious, by the way, for people that are going to take me seriously. I am being completely sarcastic.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about the Bucks?
No, felt nice to talk some basketball, though. I'm not going to lie. Felt nice.
Yeah, got some stuff coming up and some stuff happening. So
yeah.
All right, we're going to switch to baseball. Some ups and downs. Now, this is going to be the case all the time. There are always going to be ups and downs. Yeah. We just encourage you not to ride the roller coaster too high or too low. Just because baseball's such a long season.
It is. It's a grind,
you just got to try to stay in that gray area as well as you can. Like, I understand things are frustrating, or when things are going really well that you just, ride the high and live in the clouds. And I understand that, and I totally get that. But we are here to try to encourage you to try to stay a little more even keel. We're not going to tell you, don't have fun when it's going well, and we're not going to tell you you're stupid for being frustrated when things aren't going well. But what we would encourage you to not do is go straight to, this guy sucks, this team sucks, council sucks, this guy sucks, we need to trade everybody and fire everybody, and calm down. Take a step back, regain your perspective. Like Jake said, the Brewers are still in first place, even if the Cardinals win today. The Brewers haven't had an off day since last Monday. The Brewers have a couple guys still on the injured list. So, there's still things that you can take away from these games that are positive, even though the team didn't win. And the things that didn't go well are the things you can look to how the Brewers can improve. And it doesn't just have to be the Brewers suck on offense. Why do the Brewers suck on offense? Why aren't the Brewers performing as well on offense as they could be, or they should be, or how can they be better? That's what Jake and I want to look at, as opposed to just saying, this game sucked because the offense sucked. Mm-hmm. Let's look at why the offense didn't perform well and think of constructively criticizing ways to improve it. Mm-hmm. And take that optimistic approach of, this is how they can improve, and then we'll see if they do it. Ultimately, 29 out of 30 teams are not going to win the World Series this year. Some of them are already out of contention, like the Reds and the Cubs.
Yeah, Cubs. Congratulations.
So, like I said, 29 out of 30 teams aren't going to win the World Series every season. 31 out of 32 NFL teams aren't going to win the Super Bowl every year. And there's only one team that wins the NBA Finals.
And people are going to be like, "Oh, that's the loser mentality." Okay, try telling that to LA, who pays $300 million, and their only ring they won was that fucking 2020
60-game season, yeah.
Yeah, come on. You're going to tell me they paid $300 million to play 60 games? They got a ring out of it. Congratulations. But they pay that every year. Same with the Yankees. They pay all this boatload of money.
The Mets are doing it. The Padres are doing it.
Do they win the ring every year? No, they don't.
Listen here. This is the other thing that goes along with that too is, yes, I understand that not every team wins a championship every season. Yeah. But listen, you can't tell me that you had no fun during the regular season despite not winning a championship. If that's the case, why would anybody be fans of the Vikings or the Lions or the Brewers that don't have a World Series? Why would anybody be a fan of a team that has never won a championship if there was no fun to be had during the regular season?
Or you could be a fan of the Cubs and you had to go 4 generations in your family before they won a ring. I mean, you could do any of those things. I just want to kick the Cubs because their fans are going to be talking shit.
So, all right, let's start with the Pirates series. Game 1 kind of sucked because another pitcher got hurt, so that's another thing that we're dealing with. Yeah. I do want to give credit to some of the Pirates' young players in this series because they're playing with confidence because they essentially have no pressure on them. Nobody's expecting. They have no expectations, so they just get to go out and then play loose and not have to feel a bunch of pressure, which I'm sure the Brewers players are feeling right now, and it could be potentially causing some of their problems because they're playing under so much pressure that people are saying that our offense isn't good. It's obviously not a secret that the offense isn't great, but there's still pressure involved there. So that said, O'Neal Cruz is a very good young player. Not to mention that he's a freaking monster. He's 6'7". He's an inch taller than me. At shortstop of all positions.
Right, dude. That's
you hear 6'7". I'm like, no, that dude plays first base
or outfield,
or maybe pitching like Randy Johnson.
Well, pitcher today, one of the pitchers today the Cubs had was 6'7". Or
6'7" shortstop. What the hell? You gotta change the name. The Pirates don't have shortstop anymore. They have a tall stop.
And he's fast as hell.
Dude, he's good.
He's good. Man.
Good for the Pirates. You guys finally have something nice. Don't ruin it.
Yeah, he's an exciting player. Well, God damn it, Reynolds.
Brian Reynolds.
He's good too. He's switch hitter, plays pretty good, solid defense.
The Pirates should trade him to the Brewers.
I agree. I would love him on the Brewers. Brewers
All
could
right,
use a switch hitter that hits both sides of the plate.
Yeah, so the Brewers were tied 3 in the 4th inning. Perez hit a home run. Credit to him. This is not a knock on Hauser for giving up this home run. That pitch was down and in. Not an easy pitch to hit out. The second and third home runs that he gave up, those were kind of down the middle. One was a breaking ball right down the middle, and one was a four-seam fastball right down the middle. Like, nobody's missing those. Mm-hmm. So I will say Christian Yelich, Colton Wong, Andrew McCutchen, Jace Peterson all had multiple hits. McCutchen was on base 4 times. Omar Narvaez was on base 3 times. The Brewers only struck out 8 times as a team. That's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. But Christian Yelich extended his hitting streak in this game, and the Brewers almost made a late comeback. So, there's still some solid, takeaways from this game despite the Brewers not winning. But what did you see from game 1 of that Pirate series?
That one of the things I was going to bring up is if you were one of those people that was cheering and happy because Hauser's been struggling this season and you were happy that he got hurt, you are a dirty human being, and I do not want you being a fan of the same team as me.
Or our show, for that matter. There is not a single scenario or situation where cheering for an injury is okay. I don't give a shit if it happens in Game 7 of the finals and we're playing the Lakers and somebody gets hurt. I don't care. It happened during the Celtics series. Marcus Smart got hurt and his shoulder was dangling. The first thing that we said on our page is that we are Bucks fans, but we hope Marcus Smart is okay. There's not a single scenario where wanting somebody else to be hurt is okay. I don't give a shit what team they play for.
100%. We do not cheer for injuries. So if you cheer for injuries, not that I want to lose followers, I don't want to lose anybody, but we don't do that around here, okay? So if you cheer for injuries, see your way out. That's all I'm going to say.
Or stop it. I mean, you could do that too. That's an option.
You could do that. That is a better option. You could stick around and just
stick around and stop. You
could grow up and be an adult. You could
understand that these are these athletes are people. So
yeah. And I just wanted to give credit to the Brewers, for not giving up. I mean, they gave up a ton of runs. And like you were talking about that late run, they almost made a comeback, man. And yes, almost only counts in the horseshoes and hand grenades, but they didn't give up. They were still fighting to the very end, and that's what I want to see out of my teams. I want to see them try and fight. So,
I mean, it makes it more interesting for the fans in the stands too. They didn't just phone it in and ground out and not hustle out ground balls and stuff and strike out a bunch for the rest of the game.
Yeah, made it a game. So, I'm proud of them for doing that. A bunch of people had RBIs. I'm sure you mentioned them. Yelly, Wong, Adames had 2 of them. Narvaez, Tellez, and Urias, they all had RBIs. So, the one thing I didn't like is we lost this game by 1, and I know that we had to make a comeback to make that happen, but we had 8 runners left on base. And a game that you lose by 1, that sucks.
Yeah. I'm really, really racking my brain to figure out ways the Brewers can be better with guys on base. So when we get to improvements later, I'll talk about that. But let's go to Game 2. What did you see from Game 2? That was the fun one.
What didn't you see in Game 2 if you're a Brewers fan? Seriously, 19 runs?
Yeah.
That is insane. First of all, and it happened today, so it's still relevant today. Everybody always talks about the run support for Burns, and he got all of the run support for his season in one game. We wasted it all on the
real quick, because you said that. The Brewers do not control when they score their runs. If I see one more stupid comment of, well, they should have saved some runs for tomorrow, doesn't happen. They don't control when they score their runs. It's not like they were like, oh, we're going to score 19 today and only 2 tomorrow. That's how we're going to do this. They don't just get to say, oh, we have 21 runs to score the next 2 days. How should we do it? Let's do 19 in one and 2 in the other instead of 10 and 11. Okay.
Also, I'm going to add on to that. You're not the first person to say that, and it's not funny anymore. So
it's never been funny.
Okay. Carantini, Adames, Tellez, and Hira got homers. Yelly, Wong, Carantini. Adames had 4 RBIs. Tellez had 3. Urias had 2. And Hira had 1. And Brosseau had 3 RBIs. That is all one game.
Brosseau didn't start the game, and he still drove in 3 runs.
And he pitched in that game, and that was freaking amazing. He pitched, and it was amazing and awesome. And he pitched again in another game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But amazing. The Brewers were awesome at the plate that day. We also got 4 walks out of Burns isn't great, but Corbin Burns, where he gets a pass. He was a magical today. He didn't get any run support, so it is what it is.
So this shouldn't really come
as
this shouldn't really come as a surprise to anybody, but I have a whole bunch of cool stats for the Brewers this week. One of them coming from this game. So I'm going to talk about the game first. It was quiet first inning. Second inning is where it exploded. McCutchen had a single. Colton Wong had a double. Luis Urias hit a home run. Keston Hiura hit a home run. Rowdy Tellez hit a home run. Rowdy Tellez got 2 more RBI in the 4th inning. The Pittsburgh Pirates pitcher, Ronzi Contreras, came in with a 2.76 ERA, and he left with a 4.09 ERA after an inning and 2/3.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Trevor Kelly pitched well in the 7th and 8th. The Brewers put together their first 3 home run inning since 2019. Rowdy got... Yeah. Where's Christopher? Christopher is my stat hype man. Rowdy got to 6 straight hits for home runs. Now he's extended that extra base streak. Jake mentioned Corbin Burns. What's up, Simon? 6 inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. He did have the 4 walks. So I don't know if you subscribe to The Athletic, but The Athletic, Will Salmon had a really good article about Corbin Burns, talking about the notebook that he has that he uses, that he keeps track of his execution in. So Corbin Burns, he keeps track of all of the pitches, the pitch types, and the way that he executes them and how many he executes. He keeps track of all that in a notebook. Corbin Burns does. If you subscribe to The Athletic, Will Salmon had that article about Corbin Burns. So Corbin Burns talked about it not executing as well as he would like to on his cutter. His off-speed stuff has actually been really, really good this season. So I've been loving that from Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
Now, so the Brewers hit for the home run cycle in this game. They hit a solo home run, a 2-run home run, a 3-run home run, and a grand slam in this game. That all happened. Everybody but Davis got a hit, but Davis did have 2 walks, so everybody was on base. Davis was back on the field after his injury diving into the wall last week. Keston Hiura has hit 12 home runs against the Pirates since 2019. Only Paul Goldschmidt has more with 14.
Wow. He likes the Pirates.
Apparently he does. Christian Yelich extended his hit streak in this game. So in the 8th inning, the Brewers sent 11 runners to the plate before an out. Jeez. This game, so the Brewers scored 8 runs in the 8th inning without recording an out. It was only the 3rd time in Brewers history that they have scored 8 runs without recording an out. The other 2 times happened in 1987 and 1978.
Wow.
I got more.
Hey, Dad, you're old enough to know that.
So this was also the first time in franchise history that the Brewers scored 7+ runs in an inning twice in one game. Hadn't been done in Major League Baseball since the A's in 2018.
Wow.
A couple people here and there don't call me the stat man for nothing.
That's right. That's right, baby.
I got some more stats when we get into some of these later games. So let's go to game 3 of the Pirates series.
Game 3 kind of sucked, in my opinion. Losing that first game, I was like, you know what? They played 2 tough teams. I'll give them a little bit of break. And then they won 19-2. This is the one that I was like, this one kind of sucks. We lost 7-4. We left 9 runners on base in this game.
Yeah.
So that's tough. Yelly had an RBI and a home run, went yard. Wong and Peterson both had 2-out RBIs. Wong had a homer. Ashby only went 3 1/3, which is tough. I know
there's a reason why. Yeah.
I know you're gonna have more. I'm just giving everybody the recap. 3 1/3. He had give up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, only 1 walk, so that's good. In the 6 Ks. Ashby has great stuff. So if anybody's ready to give up on Ashby, relax. Okay, he has great stuff. That slider, that fastball, both good.
Yep. He's working that changeup a little bit too. He's starting to get in there.
Yeah, man, if he develops a changeup, he's about to be a problem. Seriously.
Fastball, changeup, slider combo. That's
from a lefty. Tough. That's tough, man. And he has great velocity on all of his pitches. So if he can learn to control that changeup. Milner came in, pitched the third of an inning. He looked good. He gave up an earned run, but in my opinion, I like Milner. Gonzalez was the only pitcher that pitched in the game that didn't give up an earned run, but I can't get over the 9 left on base, man. That number, I keep looking at the left on base every game now. It's like I have to look at it. It's getting bigger and bigger, man.
It gets down at some points here and there. Obviously, it's usually lower in the games the Brewers win. So there's obviously some correlation there, which shouldn't be shocking. But Ashby was looking good early. The wheels kind of came off for him in the third and the fourth inning. He did work the second inning, struck out the side. Like Jake said, he had the 6 strikeouts, only the 1 walk. So Ashby has had some control issues in this season. So for him to have an appearance, only give up 1 walk, that's perfectly acceptable to me.
Yep.
Obviously, you'd want the number to be 0, but for a young guy with some control issues at times, 1 walk is not the end of the world. And he was limited in this outing on purpose. They limited him because he was first game back from injury. So when he pitches tomorrow, I mean, as long as he's good, he'll probably be good.
Brewers have off tomorrow, but on Friday.
Okay, they're off. Oh, they are off tomorrow? Huh?
Yep, they get their day off tomorrow, finally.
They're up? For some reason, I thought they were off on Monday, too.
No, they weren't off this Monday. That's why they have off tomorrow.
For some reason, I thought they were off next Monday. I don't know.
They usually do have off days on Monday, but they have off on Thursday this week. Because then I believe they start another 3-game series with the Pirates, if I remember correctly. Let me look real quick.
I want to look because now I want to make sure that I'm not confused.
Yep, they are off tomorrow, and then they play the Pirates this weekend. That's what this weekend.
They're off Monday too. They are off Monday.
Good.
Yeah, so they're off. Yeah, so they're off. They play 3 with Pittsburgh, and then they're off again, and then they start a road trip. So.
Yep, and then that's the last. They play like 6 games, and then I think it's the All-Star break, if I remember everything correctly.
Okay.
So I think they play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's the All-Star break, so they have like 5 days off, something like that. But anyway.
All right. So they got essentially 7 days off in the next 2 weeks. So that is nice.
That'll be great for them.
So Friday, when Ashby pitches, he likely won't be under any sort of restriction. Mm-hmm. So I did talk about this the last 2 weeks about Willy Adames' patience at the plate. It does seem to be improving. It seems like he's starting to go a little bit backwards on it, but he's getting some really ridiculous strikes called on him. Like Monday's game was freaking ridiculous. Yeah. But in the third game of the Pirates series, he did work an 0-2 count back to a walk, so that's encouraging to see that from Willie. Trevor Gott did have 2 walks that came in to score. He's working back from the injured list. It's only his 3rd appearance since coming back from the injured list, so we'll give him a little bit of time to get back to his groove. The Brewers had 7 base runners in the first 3 innings, 5 hits, only scored 1 run, 3 double plays in the first 4 innings. So it's kind of a really unfortunate thing. It just seems like the Brewers are just constantly hitting into double plays. The Brewers will be, in my opinion, just based on this season alone, one of the teams that benefits the most from not having this shift anymore.
I agree.
Honestly, Christian Yelich will probably be the one that benefits the most from it. I swear to God, he grounds out to that short right field infielder, quote unquote. Like 8 out of his 10 groundouts are to that extra shifted outfielder.
He's gonna hit 300 again, baby.
I mean, hey, we'll get there. Well, simmer down. Okay, so Aaron Ashby's back. Christian Yelich extended his hitting streak to 12 in this game. The Brewers scored some more late runs again. Chi had 3 scoreless innings. We're going to need him for a little bit yet without Hauser. Everybody but Rowdy and Willie, who did have 2 walks, had a hit. Just need to string them together. The Brewers, like I just said, everybody except for Rowdy Tellez was on base in this game. They just got to do these things more consecutively. So the Brewers actually have an OPS of, let's see where I have it on here somewhere. Here. So with runners in scoring position, the Brewers actually are 9th in Major League Baseball in OPS. That's on base plus slugging. They're actually 9th in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. Unfortunately, it just seems like they're drawing a lot of walks in those situations that, add force outs. And then, I'll get to that when I get to improvements. But it just needs to be more consecutive with these things. The hits, the walks just needs to happen more and more together, like they did in the Pirates game where they won 19-2. So let's go to the fourth game of that Pirates series, and I will let you talk.
Okay. First thing I'm going to say is Woody is good.
He's all right.
he dominated with the Timber Rattlers, and then he just came up and he said it was like, yeah, I'm ready. And then he just like shit on the Rays and he just shit on the Pirates. We won this game 2-0, by the way. I didn't even write down the Pirates score. I didn't even realize it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
They didn't have any.
Yeah. But he gave up 6 great innings, gave up 6 hits, but no walks, no earned runs, had the 8 strikeouts. So he's had a 10 strikeout game on 76 pitches, and then he had an 8 strikeout game. So, I mean, the guy is just dealing straight up. Narvaez had a 2-run homer, which was, man, was that nice to see that. They only left 4
first one since May 9th.
Yeah. He has been great defensively. All the Brewers catchers have been great defensively. I will say that right now. And then, what did I see? I think yesterday I saw a stat. They were top 5 in it might have been on-base percentage for the catchers. The Brewers catchers were 5th in all of baseball for on-base percentage. So, I mean, Caratini's doing his job.
Caratini, yeah, he's helping out big time.
Yeah, he is. And then Boxberger did his thing. Williams did his thing. Hader did his thing. And the Brewers ended up winning this 2-0. So, that's all you need to know about that.
The Brewers only struck out 6 times as a team in this game. That was really encouraging for me to see. Anytime you're striking out less is good. Woodruff looks like prime Woodruff. He looks like his injury did not even bother him. 0 walks with his 8 strikeouts. That is huge from Woodruff. I love seeing that. Like Jake said, you go from the Boxberger, Williams, Hader bullpen. Josh Hader recorded 4 outs in the 9th inning, so he had that going for him.
Yep.
Yelich extended his hitting streak again. Brandon Woodruff was great. Omar Narvaez, like I said, his first home run since May 9th. Brandon Woodruff, man, his fastball looked so good. Like, nobody could touch his fastball. Like, nobody could touch it.
Right now.
It just set all of his off-speed stuff up so well because his fastball was so effective. So, I loved watching Woodruff pitch in that game. Loved it. Let's go to the Cubs. Let's go to Monday.
This game was frustrating. The 9th inning was, man, you want to talk about up and downs. That 9th inning was an up and down. First of all, it was nice to see Eric Lauer be Eric Lauer. He had better control. Didn't give up the home run. Well, they did give up a very annoying home run. I can't get over it. Dude, oh my God, I can't believe it. That was just inexperience. No, Davis is not bad. I don't want to hear that. That was just inexperience with playing in that outfield. That's all I'm going to say about that. But the 9 strikeouts from Lauer and only 2 walks, that's a good ratio to me.
Yep.
Yelich got an RBI. Caratini had 3 RBIs. We'll talk about that in a sec. But I want to talk about nobody's going to talk about his 4 strikeouts. So he had a really forgettable game, right? He struck out 4 times. But because he got the 1 hit that mattered, that's what we're going to talk about. I love it that
5th time that a player has struck out 4 times and then hit a walk-off home run. It's only happened 5 times since 1900.
Holy shit. That's my favorite stat you just shared today, by the way. That's the stat. They won this game. The Cubs, after they lost this game, were 3-10 at American Family Field. Obviously, we know they won 2 games. But they were 3-10 since the start of 2021 at American Family Field. So we were kicking their ass. They're like, Wrigley North. Yeah, you were 3-10 there. Obviously, now they're 5-10, but still, you've lost 10 times to the 5 wins. So congratulations again on being the Detroit Lions. It was Caratini's second walk-off of his career, first with the Brewers, obviously. And it was the Brewers' 3rd walk-off and 19th comeback win of the season. So this team does not give up. They always fight till the end. So the one thing I have to talk about, one more thing. First of all, the pitchers had 15 strikeouts altogether. We struck the Cubs out 15 times.
That's a lot.
And Boxberger has the biggest nuts in the room. And I don't
Dude, yeah, I said this to you before the show. So Boxberger strikes out 2 guys with the bases loaded in the the top of the 10th inning, and he walks off like they're up 5-0 in the first.
Bro, I instantly stood up, started screaming. I was like, "Big balls!" Bro, for him to throw all those changeups, and the last 2 were fucking beautiful. I'm just gonna say that. They were beautiful, bro. He threw them in the exact spot that Carantini asked for. And like you said,
that last one just froze him.
It did. You saw him frozen. That's why I was like, oh, he thought he was going high fastball. That's why.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to do that high fastball right out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
But, bro, for him to throw that in that situation, he went, and I was watching the game with my girlfriend's sister. I was like, yeah, he got fooled. Did you see his legs?
Yeah.
And I was just like, big balls, bro. I was sick. I was sick, man.
All right, so yeah. So it's good to see Lauer bounce back after having a rough June. He actually talked about it after the game. He said he felt like June he got kicked in the nuts. Literally what he said. So his fastball, his zoom ball, as it's called, his fastball has like a rising action to it. It's actually really cool. Like he doesn't throw overly hard. He throws like 93, 94 on his fastball, but it has just like a little bit of upward motion to it. It makes it hard to hit. So I will give credit to Velasquez on the home run that he hit. The pitch was low and inside. It's a tough pitch to hit, but he hit it out. So credit to him for that. Get to the bottom of the 9th inning. They're posted on our Twitter page. The 2 strike calls that Willie Adames had called on him in the bottom of the 9th inning. Like, just sign me up for robotic umps already. This is freaking ridiculous. And then twice in a row to call him that far away.
The first one was definitely closer. I will give him a pass on that. But the second one, how in the hell do you call that a strike?
Once is an accident, forgivable. It's one bad call. To do literally twice in a row on 2 horrible pitches. Like, I feel bad for Willie because he's going through a little bit of a slump right now. With this series, at least.
Yeah.
To get calls like that, just seriously sign me up for the robotic strike zone already.
I agree.
At least it's consistent then. Yeah. Not like last week where Jason Alexander is pitching in the 8th inning and he throws one that catches like a third of the plate and it gets called a ball. Like, what are we even doing here?
What are we doing here? I don't know. They don't know.
Calling terrible pitches, balls and strikes. That's what we're doing.
Robots would know what to do. That's all.
They would. And I don't need them making the calls on the bases, literally just for the strike zone.
Yeah.
That's it. Because then it's at least consistent in the strike zone. That's all I want is a consistent strike zone. Human error is part of the game. Yeah, but it's not fair for both teams. Sometimes it works in the Brewers' favor. Like, it does sometimes, but it also irritates the hell out of me when it doesn't. So I just want it to be fair and consistent all the time.
Yeah. The people that say that human error is part of the game are the same people that like the nostalgia. They're in that same group.
Yeah, that's fair. So bases loaded with 1 out, and Brad Boxberger strikes out arguably two of the best power hitters in the Cubs lineup. Definitely their best in Patrick Wisdom, and the other one being Happ. To strike those 2 out, that's huge.
I actually like Patrick Wisdom, which is really sad because I think he's a good player. I do too.
Like I said before, it was actually at the end of last season. Some people were talking. There was a couple of Chicago fans, and they're like, they're talking about Patrick Wisdom. It's like, I'll take him if you don't want him. Like, I felt the same way about Anthony Rizzo. It's like, it sucks that he plays for the Cubs because I actually really like him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, man. That's what makes it hard about him.
I know.
Lamest team.
And now he plays for the Yankees.
Like, I should probably hate you, but I don't because you're a really nice guy.
He seems like a cool dude too. Like last year when he was chasing Freddie Freeman and he's messing around. Like, It's just a point where it's like you can't not like somebody like that.
I agree.
In my
Freddie
opinion,
Freeman too. He's a good dude too, even though he plays for the Dodgers.
yeah. Well, he shouldn't be playing for the Dodgers.
I
His
know
agent is kind of a snake. That's kind of fucked up. But
they did him so dirty, man. I'm pissed.
well,
I'm pissed for him. He fired him immediately after that.
Yeah, it's so shiesty the way that happened. For those of you that don't know what happened with Freddie Freeman's agent, essentially his agent didn't tell him about the final offer that he had coming from the Braves, because it was better than the offer that the Dodgers made.
And they knew he was going to take it.
And Freddie Freeman would have stayed in Atlanta had he known about the offer, but his agent didn't tell him about it, so he signed with the Dodgers.
It's so messed up because you see him cry. You saw him cry when he got his ring, and he was so happy to be with his old teammates. It's just like, I just want to. That's a guy that deserves to get kicked in the balls. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's so bad. Yeah, like Tyler said, it makes baseball look bad. That's bad. It wouldn't shock me. Yeah, I was just gonna say it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't get any more clients as an agent ever again.
That's pretty bad.
I mean, maybe he can drop down to college and start doing NIL stuff, but he's not getting another professional player.
Man, I was going to text you the other day. You just refreshed that in my brain because I forgot to text you. We are going to have to talk about the new landscape of the Big Ten before this.
We are, and I think we should save that until we find out what's going to happen with a couple other teams first.
Notre Dame, Oregon, Washington. There's a couple
Stanford
teams in there that are kind of. Stanford will definitely come over. They feel like Big Ten, even though they're over.
Well, when you mix in their athletics and their academics, Stanford does feel like a Big Ten team.
They're already a better version of Northwestern. Because Northwestern is kind of hard to get into, but they kind of suck at all the sports.
Yeah, Madison is hard to get into, but they're still good at sports.
It's because we're the best, baby.
All right, so let's see with. The first game, it's good to see Pedro Severino back. So he had a performance-enhancing drug suspension, but before, if you haven't seen what happened with his suspension and you get a bad opinion of him, please don't. The substance that he tested positive for was a fertility drug because him and his wife were trying to conceive. So that was what he tested positive for, was because it was elevating his testosterone. Because him and his wife were trying to conceive. So before you're acting like he's taking steroids and stuff like that, it was actually just a fertility drug because him and his wife were trying to have a baby. So don't color a bad opinion of Pedro Severino. Okay.
He just wants to help populate the world, man. Okay?
Yeah, he just wants to have kids. That's fun. Sometimes.
Hey. If you're Wander Franco, you don't need to do that, though.
Yeah, you just have all your brothers, uncles, and every man in your family with the same name.
All the Wander Francos. Dude, when I was watching the game and I just told Chantel that story, she was like, that's the guy? Oh, my God, I hate him so much.
It's not his fault.
Right? He didn't start the trend. His dad did.
Right? And he's not eligible for the postseason because of it. That's just how the suspensions work. I do agree he served his ban that he should get to play, but that's just one of those rules that Major League Baseball has. If Severino can help the Brewers win some games, he could potentially become a trade bait for a team, that's either looking to try to elevate themselves into the playoffs because they obviously can't use him in the playoffs, or just a team that just needs a catcher. So Pedro Severino could potentially become a trade piece if some team is interested in him. It's not going to be a high value trade piece, but he could be something just to consider. Caratini hit the walk-off. I mentioned it is the fifth time since 1900 for a player to strike out 4 times and then hit a walk-off home run. Fifth time in 122 years that happened.
They play 162 games.
So that's a lot of games.
That's crazy.
That's 122 times 162. That's how many games that happened. 5 times.
122.
Yeah, do 122 times 162 and let me know what that is. Like Jake said, we talked about Brad Boxberger.
19,764.
Now do that divided by 5. Or no, do 5 divided by that number. My bad.
19,764. Ah, shit, I hit
it's going to be like 0.000000.
It's .000252299. So like literally like never happens.
That's like one. It's like that would be two 1,000ths of of a potential of that happening.
Jesus
Not that I want that to happen. I don't want a guy to strike out 4 times and then hit a walk off. But I mean, like the walk off part is cool.
At least it happened for us, right?
Right. All right, let's go to game 2. Wait, I have one more stat for this game.
Okay.
Tyler will probably like this one because it does involve the Cubs as well. So, this was the first time in Major League Baseball that a player hit their first career home run. That was Velasquez. A player hit an inside the park home run. That was Suzuki. And a walk-off home run, which was Caratini. First time that those 3 things all happened in the same game, ever.
No way.
Ever.
That is definitely stat of the week material right there.
First career home run, inside the park home run, and a walk-off home run. First time ever that those 3 things all happened in the same game.
Wow. I like it. Damn, I just got good stats today. Digging up some good shit, buddy.
I'm the stat man. That's what I'm here for, man. I find all the cool stats. That's what I like to do.
Good. We got to get Tyler to make you a shirt that says stat man. Because you need to wear that.
I would wear a stat man shirt. Dude, okay, so real quick sidetrack, just because you brought up Tyler. Wisco Ball is one of the sponsors of our show now. You can actually get Wisco Fanatic stuff on their website. He's going to be in Plymouth. He didn't even tell me that he was going to be in Plymouth. He's going to be in Plymouth this Saturday.
This Saturday?
This Saturday. So if you want to go check out Wisco Ball, he's going to be in Plymouth at the Mill Street Festival.
Sick. Maybe I'll make a trip, man.
Do it. I'm going to go because I'm going to go and be like, I'm just going to surprise him and be like, hey, man, what's up?
Hey, man. Be nice to meet him face to face.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, you got your new job now, so you're off on Saturday, huh?
I am, baby.
Yeah, dude. If you want to go, let me know.
Yeah, I'll talk to Chantel when I get upstairs, man.
Yeah, we can meet the sponsor in person.
That'd be nice. Get a pic for the blog, baby. Get a pic for the
sure.
blog.
All right, let's go to game 2 of this Brewers Cubs series.
I'm gonna be honest. I turned this game off after the 6th inning. Not gonna lie to you. I was pissed. I just went to bed. I was like, bro, I gotta get up at 3:45 in the morning, and I'm already goddamn angry. But Jason Alexander, I feel like the defense let him down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it seems like with like the wheels came off a little bit was after some errors.
Yeah, he always gives up hits. So when I look at his hits, like, he does, right? He gave up 8 hits, but the 6 earned runs is really what hurts. 2 walks, only 2 strikeouts. Not a high strikeout guy either.
Right.
But the thing that I like about Jason Alexander is he's just a horse. You can just throw him out and be like, listen, we need a guy that's going to go 5-6 innings, going to give our team a chance to win the game. And that's usually what he does, right?
Yep.
But, a couple errors, one from Willie, one from UBS. And, like you said, the wheels just kind of fell off. Tellez absolutely launched a home run in the 1st inning. He looked like he was golfing on that play. Carantini also picked up another RBI. Yeah, Brewers offense, and this is really where I started thinking what I said before. I was like, man, their legs are so dead right now. Their brains are fried. Like, you understand the laser focus that they have to hit a baseball? And then all the defensive positioning. Like, there's more into baseball than people realize. Like, you think it's just throwing and hitting, right? But, they pull out a card, and they look at the card, and my stepson was watching the game with me, actually. He never watches sports, by the way. He just wants to play them. Okay, that's the age he's at. But he sees one of the outfielders look at the card. I believe it was Davis, and he said, "What's on the card?" I was like, "For every hitter, they have to be in a certain spot because the numbers tell them that they're going to hit it at this spot because we're going to pitch them this way." So that's
how the Cubs won their World Series. That's how they won it.
I was like,
basically by knowing where the guy's going to hit the ball.
And they almost made a really good play on Wong today, by the way. It was Wisdom who almost made a really sick play on Wong because of their positioning. But there's a lot more that goes into it, and
not to mention they do that 162 times per year.
Yeah, they're just
obviously nobody's playing all 162, but it's a long season.
I will almost guarantee that the Brewers will win this series, and I'm not saying it because it's the Pirates. Like, oh, you're going on a limb. Because of this off day, they're going to get a day to refresh, get their mind off baseball for a day, hang out with their families, sit at home, play a series at home, and they have another off day. The Brewers, I feel like, are going to be much better after this series.
Yeah.
I think they'll win the series against the Pirates. They'll get another off day, and then they'll win probably. I'll say they'll win 4 out of 6 after that.
4 out of 6 on their 2 in Minnesota and
they'll win 4 out of 6
in
going into
San
the unbreakable
Francisco.
bot. By the way, I was watching. Yeah, I think I was watching the Cards and the Phillies the other day. It was on ESPN. And they were talking about the best teams in the NL, and they were like, "Oh, we have these 2 teams, and you can never count out the Dodgers." And one of the commentators actually mentioned the Brewers, and that was actually shocking to me. I felt a level of respect. I was like, "Okay, they see us." He mentioned, that they need to get more contact hitters, which I agree with. Just putting the ball in play, and it's almost like we know things, almost like we know stuff. But just getting a couple more contact hitters, and this team's potential would be through the roof. I'm just going to say that. But we are getting national recognition. I will say the one team that I am the most worried about, they were talking about the Padres a lot, which I'm kind of like, I'm not worried about the Padres. But the Mets. The Mets are going to be crazy when they get those 2 guys back, man. DeGrom and Scherzer. That's a great one, too. That is definitely in the discussion with it's probably better because Scherzer is probably better than Woody on a consistency basis, but I would call DeGrom and Burns a wash. But I'm not even saying that Woody's that much worse, because he's right there with him.
He finished 5th in Cy Young last year.
Yeah, but the 1-2 that we would get, the first 2 games of that playoff series would be fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it would be fantastic, dude.
And you said Willie yesterday, so you made me say Willie Peralta.
I know.
Freddie Peralta should be back by then. So Freddie, Freddie could be the 3rd potential starter there. Not sure who the Mets' 3rd starter would be. If it would be, I'm not sure. I'm not that concerned about New York, to be honest with you.
I think New York. I think the Mets are the team to worry about. I really do. They would probably be my favorite. If both those guys can get back to where they are, they would probably be my team.
11 strikeouts in his first game back. I would, you know what? While we're on the subject of Max Scherzer, I want to give him credit. When he was doing his minor league rehab start, he bought everybody like a really nice meal, and he gave everybody in the clubhouse for like the AA team that he was on. He gave everybody AirPods. So that's a respect thing. It was cool of Scherzer to do that. So I just want to throw that out there. I do respect him for doing that because that's a cool thing to do.
I will definitely, no matter what team, even the Cubs, even though I freaking hate everything Chicago, I will always give credit when people are being good people. That we need more of that in this world, man.
For
Seriously.
sure. So tough outing for Alexander. He couldn't really get his footing after the errors that kind of messed him up. I'm not blaming the errors on, for all of Alexander's earned runs, but he just needs to get his confidence back. He feels like the guy who was really thriving on pitching well, and then feel like he was building his confidence, and then he was going to just come in and give you 6 innings and give up some hits, but get out of jams, because that's what he'd been doing. I mentioned, I think it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, that he had a really high WHIP but a really low ERA. So I use the term law of averages a lot. Those things are going to even out eventually. So he's going to have a game like this once in a while. But looking at his starts, he's pitched really well. I'm not saying that you want it to happen, but he deserves to have a clunker and to not be crucified for it.
I agree.
So it shouldn't be, he has this bad game and it's just, send him back to AAA or trade him while he's worth something. He had a bad game. Move on. Hopefully in his next start he gets his mojo back. I will give Suzuki credit because, for the 3rd time in this series or the 3rd time in this show, a really way inside pitch, he turned on it and snuck it inside the foul pole. Was encouraging to see Suter have a not bad game. He pitched 2 2/3, only gave up 1 run, had 4 strikeouts. Brewers only left 6 men on base, but 5 of them were in scoring position. That's where that kind of sucks. But Rowdy Tellez did tie a franchise record of 10 consecutive extra base hits. That record was from 2002. Caratini's got himself a 4-game hitting streak. I didn't look to see today if he played, but Yelich extended his on-base streak in this 2nd game to 14 games straight of being on base. And he stole his 150th career base in this game. So he's only one of 7 active players to have 150 home runs and 150 stolen bases.
Attaboy.
You think you could name like 3 of the other ones? Spoiler alert, one of them's on his team.
What?
Yes.
What?
One of them is on his team.
What? Colton Wong, maybe?
No, that's not a bad guess.
God,
the other one stole his 200th career base earlier this season.
God damn it! I should know this now.
It's a lot of stolen bases, so it might be an older guy.
I feel bad that I don't know this. I'm not. Just tell me. Just tell me. Just tell me.
Andrew McCutchen.
I should have known.
But it was
McCutchen was good a long time ago.
I mean, he has an MVP. It's not Renfroe. That's he doesn't steal bases, even though he's got a little bit of speed, but he doesn't steal bases. It seems like he hits dingers or strikes out. But Renfroe's a good guess though. Like Mookie Betts was one, Altuve, Mike Trout.
I could have definitely told you Mike Trout. That guy's in every stat.
Yeah,
for
McCutchen. There's one that I'm missing, but I'm really not that concerned about it because it's probably somebody that I don't like.
Although the Angels are on a little bit of a drought again, man.
Yeah, that is what it is. I'm not concerned. It's an LA team, so.
Well, they could give us their 2 stars.
Correa might be the other one.
Ooh, that's a really.
I know Altuve is one, so. So let's go to today's game.
Well, Corbin Burns was fantastic in this game. 7 innings pitched, 10 Ks, 1 walk, only gave up 3 hits. He threw 100 pitches in 7 innings, but he was fantastic. 0 earned runs. The first earned run came from Boxberger. We were up 1-0. Pitched a third of an inning, 2 hits. Finally gave up that run. He couldn't get out of this jam like he did on the 4th. Trevor Gott ended up getting us out of that. You know, he pitched 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no walks, no strikeouts. But Josh Hader, man, that's 2 outings in a row now where he's got, you know. And that just happens sometimes. You know, you talked about the law of averages. That's probably going to be our new thing for this Brewers season. The law of averages. Josh Hader he's in a bad streak right now. He's definitely a guy I think that could use some off days.
His ERA is up to 163. Unacceptable.
Yeah, we need to fucking freak out.
We need to trade him. His ERA is 163.
No, Josh Hader will be fine. Just for all the people out there that are actually going to freak out, he will be fine. Other than that, the Brewers offense. Castanera had a pretty good game. He made a really, really nice catch against the wall. And then he had a home run, 2-out home run, by the way. But other than that, man, Brewers are 0 for 6, runners in scoring position. They left 6 runners on base. That's stuff that you can't do. And the Cubs came and they won. You just move on.
Yep. So I'm looking at 2, 4, 6.
You looking for strikeouts?
Looking at 9 strikeouts. I'd really like to see the Brewers around 7 per game. Honestly, I'd like to see them at less, but league average is around between 7 and 8. So I'd like to see them get closer to 7. So I'm just gonna transition into this right away. Jake kind of gave the overview of the game. One thing that is worth noting is that Corbin Burns is now tied with Giovanni Gallardo for most double-digit strikeout games in franchise history with 18. So the next time Corbin Burns pitches and he has double-digit strikeouts, he will be the owner of that record for the Brewers. Looking at hitting with runners on base, it just comes down to stringing hits together. Ultimately, what I'm looking at when I'm talking about stringing hits together, it actually is the same suggested improvement that I would make for why the Brewers are striking out so much, is to protect the plate with 2 strikes is ultimately what I'm looking at for the Brewers to improve on. Is when you have 2 strikes on you, just put the ball in play. It doesn't even have to be in play. Just foul some pitches off. And just stay alive. Just wait for the pitcher to make a mistake. It seems like the Brewers are trying so hard to draw walks instead of protecting the strike zone. So that's where my mindset's coming down on it.
Dude, I love that people are giving us trivia. I got
right. Andrew asked based on the inside the park home run stat you had earlier. Who has the most inside park home runs in the Major League Baseball history? Bonus, when is the last time a player got an inside home run as their very first at bat?
If you know both
Ooh.
of those things, you're smarter than me, and I tip my cap.
You know what? Based on Jake's answer before, I'm just going to say that both of those were Mike Trout.
If they're both Mike Trout, I'll freak out. I would go with Ricky Henderson. I don't think it was Mike Trout for first at bat. First at bat.
Inside the park home run in their first at bat. I don't know, maybe like Ozzie Smith. He was a fast guy that didn't hit for power.
That's tough.
The 70s Cardinals.
Man, you have to get lucky where it has to bounce.
You got to get the bounce right. The most inside park home runs in MLB history.
Andrew, you got to tell us now. You can't leave us hanging, man.
Yeah, I mean he's got to still be in the comments, but one thing I will say as far as I referenced Baseball Almanac, but I didn't know offhand. First guy is a big name, second guy isn't. So most inside the park home runs history is a big name.
Bro, you know how long baseball's been going on? Is he like a big name now?
A recent big name? Live ball era? That would be 1920 to now. That still doesn't help.
Is it a Brewer?
He is old school. It's got to be like Babe Ruth or Ted Williams or Lou Gehrig.
Tyler might be on to something with Ricky Henderson.
Oh, what about Mickey Mantle? Or Willie Mays? It could be Willie Mays.
Willie Mays is a good guess. That's a great guess. Very old school. That's tough. Just give me the answer. Give me the answer. I'm one of those guys. Like if somebody's
Ty Cobb.
That is very, very old school.
Randall Cobb's much older brother from another mother.
All right, now tell us the answer to the other one.
Yeah, please. Second one. I don't know. I got nothing.
I'm gonna assume he played for like the Marlins or the Mariners because nobody pays attention to them.
Ty Cobb for both?
Both answers?
He said the first guy was a big name, second guy isn't.
I mean, I know who Ty Cobb is.
That'd be very tricky.
Was it when he was old and we didn't expect anything of him?
While he's doing that, I do want to mention that it's going to be a little bit better for the Brewers when Tyrone Taylor and Hunter Renfroe are back healthy. So the Brewers will have that going for them. The other thing I wanted to touch on was with runners in scoring position. So the Brewers are currently 23rd in batting average with runners in scoring position. This was before today's game. 23rd with runners in scoring position on average. 16th in on base percentage, and 9th in slugging, and 9th in OPS. So the Brewers, like I said, it just comes down to protecting the strike zone as opposed to looking to draw walks, because that's what it feels like with their OPS being high. It's partially because of their slugging, because the Brewers hit a lot of home runs. And then the other part of it is on base percentage, but the batting average being low. Feels like they're just trying to draw a lot of walks, but when you have second and third and 2 outs, drawing a walk doesn't score you any runs. It just gives the infield another force out opportunity. So to me, it seems I would suggest that the Brewers attempt to protect the strike zone more than to attempt to draw walks would be my suggestion for improvement.
I agree with that. I agree.
All right. If Johnny LeMaster in 1975. Well, I said Ozzie Smith, so I had the right era.
LeMaster.
Johnny LeMaster. All right.
Great name. I never heard that guy either, but that is a great name. Great name.
All right. Well, let's do our power pair. I know we have the same guys for them, but I'll let you talk and then I will talk. Quick. Hold on, real quick, just because I know this is going to come up because we do have, spoiler alert, Brad Boxberger as our pitcher. People questioning why Brad Boxberger was pitching in the 8th. Craig Counsell said Devin Williams was not available today due to a heavy recent workload. So, go ahead.
So that answers that, so don't ask that annoying question. All right, so we're going to start on pitcher since we're talking about Boxberger.
Yep.
He had 2 innings pitched, 2 hits. I didn't include today's game, by the way.
Right.
2 walks and 3 Ks. For him to step up in that moment on July 4th and honestly just delivered two of the most beautiful pitches I've seen this season, and give the Brewers an opportunity to still win that game when the bases were loaded.
Strike out two big power hitters in Wisdom and Happ.
And he dealt with Contreras.
True.
So he went through the meat of that order, and he dealt with it all. But for him to honestly just be able to take that moment by the nuts and just take over and give the Brewers a chance to win that game, because obviously we lost the next two, so that was a big win for us.
Yep.
Boxberger was he was great, so I want credit. Almost wanted to switch when I saw how great Burns was today, because Burns had a really, really good week in my opinion. But I went with Boxberger because he set them up to win that July 4th game, which definitely made my July 4th a lot better. After that inside the park, I was like, man, we need a moment.
All right, so I mentioned we have the same ones. For me, I was looking at Brad Boxberger. Coming into today, his last 9 appearances were all scoreless. 9 consecutive scoreless appearances. 2 of them happened in the last week. In those 9 appearances, 9 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts. So he gave up 1 run today and ended up being losing run, but 9 consecutive scoreless appearances, and today he gave up 1 run. Not a reason to say that Boxberger sucks or to bash him or to cry about Devin Williams not being available. They're all human, and baseball is honestly baseball is a sport of failure. If you can't handle and accept that, I would really suggest you watch a different sport, because baseball is a sport where you can fail 70% of the time and be considered really good at your job.
True.
All right. That said, let's go to position player. Who is our position player?
Let's talk about Christian Yelich, huh?
Yes, let's do that.
Again, these stats were taken before today's game. 6 of 21, so that's 285. That's not amazing, but 285 is a good batting average. He scored 7 runs, had 4 RBIs. He had 6 walks. He had a triple and a home run this week. So he's a guy, I always like to give Yelich some love, since it doesn't seem like he gets a lot anymore from fans. People just like to bash him because he's paid so much money. And it's like,
and he's not hitting home runs every other game like he did for 2 years.
Like, guys, he wasn't going to stay on that streak forever. I'll take a guy that has a 400 or 40%, whatever way you want to look at it, 400 on base percentage. He's getting on base. He's causing havoc, and he's doing his job as a leadoff hitter. He's stealing bases.
Go ahead. Keep going.
That's all you can ask for. No, I'm done. That's all you can ask for.
Right now, this Christian Yelich is the Christian Yelich the Brewers traded for.
Yep.
This is like Miami Marlins Christian Yelich, where he didn't have a ton of power. He still has some power. He's up to, I think, nine home runs on the season. 8, 9, something like that.
8.
So, he's going to hit, I don't know, probably 15, 20 home runs this year, and he's going to steal a ton of bases. He's 13 for 13 on stolen base attempts, so he's stealing a bunch of bases. And as a leadoff hitter, his slashing, 304 for his batting average, 408 for his on-base percentage, 431 for his slugging, and 839 for his OPS. So he's doing much, much better in the leadoff position. So while you might look at him and be like, oh, he's averaging 251 this year. But if you look at just where he's been for the last month, he's doing really well. He's really thriving in that leadoff spot.
He's been really good.
So Yelich he's vulnerable to curveballs and cutters. You can look at Baseball Savant and it'll tell you what percentage of pitches they see the most of, and which ones which ones they're hot and coldest against. Yelich, his strike zone looks pretty good. He's not chasing a ton of pitches. He's swinging at pitches inside the zone, which are good, but it just seems like curveballs and cutters are what he's seeming to struggle with. His chase percentage, so his swinging at percentage of pitches outside the zone, is actually lower than it was in 2018 and 2019. Ultimately, with Christian Yelich, it just seems to me that he just needs to swing the bat more often. Yeah. He's choosing good pitches to swing at. He just needs to swing the bat more often. Is ultimately what it comes down to with him. He did get a hit today, so his on-base streak is now at 15 games, so he's got that going. Obviously, he's 1 for 4, and that's a 250 average, but that being said, he has been on base 15 games in a row, which is something you'd like to see from your leadoff hitter, is that he's getting on base a ton. So
I agree.
All right, so looking at what's next for the Brewers, like we've been saying a handful of times already, they have the off day tomorrow. Then they have another 3-game series with the Pirates. Then they are off on Monday. They leave for 2 games in Minnesota, and that brings us to next Wednesday. But after that, they are going to San Francisco for a 4-game series with the Giants. It was originally supposed to be a 3-game series, but that's where the other makeup game from the earlier series cancel is coming in. So they're playing 4 games in San Francisco after 2 in Minnesota. So it's going to be Ashby, Woodruff, and Lauer Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it'll be probably Alexander and Burns next Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's where we're at with the Brewers. Listen, when it comes to any of the sports teams, don't ride too high, don't ride too low. Give yourself more perspective, whether it be for free agency or a frustrating game. Don't cheer for injuries and try to have a more positive and optimistic outlook towards your teams and see if it trickles down to your life. That's what we want to encourage you to do.
And I tell you is go buy stuff from WiscoBall.com. Please and thank you. It would be really awesome if it was a Wisco Fanatic shirt.
All right,
All
bud.
love, go Brewers.
And thanks for everybody that tuned in on Friday night to our Packers show. That was really awesome. It went really well. Everybody that said stuff about it all said really good things, so we really appreciate that as well. We will be doing another Packers show soon, and then we're going to do them every Friday night during the season. So that was a really good show, so we want to thank Simon and Brian for joining us for that. And thank you for everybody who watched and commented on that because that went really well.
Yes, I'm so excited for football. We're getting there, baby. We're getting there. Have a good night.
All right. Summer League basketball on Friday.
Later,
We got that too.